Am I a bad person? Okay, hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today I want to tell you a story about how I set up my apartment and how I went through all the turmoil to get all my stuff in place. So I moved to Amsterdam in Netherlands in about 2 months ago, and then when I first came here, this apartment, which I just showed you, has nothing in it. And it was a hell of a trip because I was supposed to fly from Guangzhou 2 days before my actual departure date, but there was a typhoon in Guangzhou, so my flight got cancelled. So I had to fly from Chengdu to Shanghai to Finland and then to Amsterdam, which cost me a 2-day delay in my arrival. And then when I first came to this apartment, it has nothing in it. There's no mattress, there's a bed, it's like a sofa bed. It's soft on the top, but there's no mattress and it's very dirty. And there's no TV, there's no microwave, and the only thing it came with is a fridge and an induction oven. Anyway, so I arrived in the morning, like 6 a.m. in the airport, and I couldn't find my luggage. So I go to all the luggage belts to find my luggage and couldn't find it. So I have to walk all the way across to the other end of the airport to ask assistance from the luggage handling guy. And when I went there, there's like a huge line of people who couldn't find luggages, so Skippo, what the hell. I want to stay in the line, but I also want to go back and find my luggage if it will appear. So I talked to this really nice lady and we add each other on WhatsApp. So she stayed in the line and I went back to find both our luggages. In the end, I find my luggages, but it took like 3 hours for it to appear on the belt. And the lady got her luggages too. I took a cab to my apartment and find out there's nothing in it and there's no place for me to sleep. So I decided on that day I had to go and buy stuff. So my first stop is to Markt, which is like a Best Buy in the Netherlands for like TVs and stuff. I got myself a coffee maker, a microwave, a tea kettle and stuff, and also got myself a TV. And when I was Ubering home, the driver saw me with all those stuff and he asked, "How are you gonna bring all this stuff home by yourself?" And I told him, "I'll figure it out. I'll move them one by one if I need to, but I really need those stuff to survive." So I went home and then realized I was wrong. There's no way I'm gonna bring all this stuff up. But in the end, I did. It took a lot of effort though. It's like trigonometry because the TV is so huge and I couldn't carry it with my both arms open. I couldn't even like grab it. So I have to use some math. Thank you, Euclid. So I hold it like this, like I'm carrying a big cannon, and made it to the elevator. I got everything home and set them up, and it's like noon, and because I didn't sleep on my whole 14-hour flight, I'm like dozing off, and I told myself, you don't want to sleep on the couch on your first day here. So I grabbed my stuff and went to IKEA. So I went to IKEA and it was kind of a disaster too. I've never been to IKEA by myself. I always go there with my parents. And also I didn't went to IKEA to actually buy stuff for the furniture and stuff because I never had to. So I went there and I was like browsing the first floor, which is like small appliances and like fabrics and stuff. And I got a whole lot of things in my cart. And then I realized I need a mattress too. So I had to go to the second floor to find the number for the mattress. And it was me, the only one person, who's holding a giant cart, which is all the way full, and driving to the maze on the second floor of IKEA. Because you know how IKEA is, it's like separated into sections and categorized by different rooms. So I have to go past all the way from the kitchen to the study room to the kids' room and stuff. And then I don't know why they hide the bedroom in the farthest way from the elevator. So I finally got out of the maze and go to the storage, grab my mattress. And I found out there's only one left, the mattress I want. So I'm like searching through the whole pile of other mattresses to find mine. But I couldn't find it at first because it's not in the section of the mattresses. And in the end I found it. I was exhausted. I didn't have anything to eat that day. All I had is some water from the taxi. So I went to the diner in IKEA and had some meatballs and a Heineken, which I do regret. Because I was so sleepy and beer made me even more sleepy. So after dinner I was checking out all the stuff from IKEA. I couldn't even count how much glasses I have scanned. So I just kind of like do it mechanically for like half an hour to check out. It feels like half an hour, but it's probably only like 5 minutes. But I can feel like people behind me staring at me because it's taking too long for me to check out. So I was finally done with checkout and I was trying to order Uber from IKEA, and it's like 8 p.m. when IKEA is closing, and I couldn't find Uber. I tried Uber for half an hour and I had like 5 drivers cancel my trip. I don't know why it's so hard to get an Uber in the Netherlands. I really need that Uber because I have too many stuff and couldn't take the metro. So I waited another half an hour for Uber, but no luck. And it's like 9 and it's almost dark. So I had to take another taxi, which cost me 100 euros to get back. It's really expensive to get a taxi and Uber here, so I hardly ever use that. I always use metro or ride my bike. So I finally got home and I was really lucky to find this neighbor who was willing to help me with all my stuff. But until now, we haven't actually met each other again. We ran into each other in the elevator, but we only said hi. Am I a bad person? So should I text them? Comment it below. So anyway, I expected Netherlands to be a little inconvenient than China or the States, but I didn't expect it would be so hard to get everything in order. So it takes me like 2 weeks to actually settle in with all my stuff. But I still got lucky because some of my friends don't even have an apartment yet. So that's another thing I want to talk about today about Amsterdam, is that it's really hard to get an apartment here if you don't have a job or as a student. So for me, the process is like a roller coaster because I applied from my school UBA, but there's like a system malfunction. So after I put in my application online, the application status immediately says granted. So I thought I have a room, that's great. And that's in May. So when it's in June and everyone is receiving their room offers, I got nothing. I didn't got any email communication, I didn't got any status change on the website, something went wrong. So I had to ask my advisor what's going on, and they said, oh, there's like a system malfunction. So I was panicking. I thought, do I really have a room? How am I gonna find a room now? So I applied to our campus and Holland to Stay, which is a website where you have to pay to get into a lottery to find rooms, and their money is a waste because there's too many people applying for it and it's impossible to get a room from the lottery. But in the end, I got an offer to this apartment, which I'm so grateful. At least 2 people I know couldn't find their apartment and they're living at someone else's place on an air mattress, because the school only offers you a room in the first year you came here, and after that you have to find your own place to stay. And most of the apartments don't cater to students. There's only a small amount of students' apartment, so you have to go on Facebook and whatever to find a room to stay. And it's really hard to do that because there's like scans on it. Also the price is very high. This room is like 800 euros, but if I want to rent a room by myself, it probably costs like 1,000 to rent some places like this. And most of the other apartments are for like young professional and like elite, and so you have to have a job to get into it. They only cater to people with a job and the income, which is really unfortunate for students. So that's why my school said they'll reduce the amount of offers to international students because there's no accommodation available for them, and it's impossible to sustain this much students in Amsterdam. So I also want to briefly talk about why I chose to go to University of Amsterdam and came to the Netherlands. Why didn't I go to a grad school in the States or in China? So first of all, the tuition here is much cheaper than the States. In the States, you probably need like 50 grand to get into a good university and do grad school a year. But here is only like 200,000 a year. Also, University of Amsterdam is ranked number 1 in communication science in mostly all of the rankings, and it has done so for many years. So the academics, either in teaching or research, is really good in this university, and that's evident even before I came here, because a lot of papers I read in my courses back in the States had like Dutch names as authors, and then it turns out to be professors in the University of Amsterdam. And after I came here, a lot of our texts are wrote by those professors as well. And although communication science is originated in the States, but right now here is what's the most leading edge thing is happening. So it is a great school with great academics and great researches. So how did I apply for this school? I would say the most important thing is your personal statement, because I don't really have a very good grade or very good GPA back in college. I could even say it's kind of disastrous because I failed a lot of classes. in my freshman year because I was kind of exploring what kind of majors I want to do, and I tried a lot of different classes which doesn't suit me. Political science. But I would say what got me in here is my personal statement. I got some help from my boss when I was working as an intern in my university as a teaching assistant. And I would say that's really helpful because I would say my personal statement was in a wrong direction. So there's like 3 advice she gave me. First one is personal statements are not academic papers. So you don't have to quote scholarly articles, or you don't have to prove how much knowledge do you have. And the second one is you need to show your leadership, and this leadership doesn't mean you have to be a leader in a group or whatever, but you have to be an invaluable part of a group, and you facilitated how the group make progress. And finally, you have to use your personal charm, because when they select grad students, they do not only expect you to have a good academic background and you have a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills. They also expect you to be the kind of person they want to work with and they want to teach. And I think this is the same for like interviewing and stuff. I always treat interviews like a first date with a person. You have to be able to prove not only you are valuable and you are an asset to the company, but also you are charmful, you are a fun person to work with and possibly become friends with. So that's all the talking I'm going to do today. And what other topics about studying abroad you want to hear? Please let me know.